447, so you can text questions to that number. You can also email your questions to webmaster@scic.gov.sk.ca. And then we also have the teleconference, and those details were sent out in the media advisory, which went out yesterday. And I will be monitoring those questions submitted, and we'll be able to bring those to Minister Stewart and to our President and CEO, Sean Jakes. News release has been issued or will be issued very shortly, and will be up on our SCIC website and the Saskatchewan government's website now or very shortly, and copies of that news release have been distributed in the room. So with that in mind, that's how the event's going to run. I'm now going to turn the announcement over to our Minister, Lyle Stewart. Minister Stewart.
Thank you, Ray. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here on behalf of Premier Moe. I haven't been able to say that too often. It seems a little strange, but I think it's good. And the government of Saskatchewan. Thank you all for being here. With me today, seated beside me, is Sean Jakes, Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Corporation President and CEO. And I would like also to acknowledge our guests who have joined us for the announcement. Levi Hull, Sask Cattlemen's Association, Lane Stockberger, Director, Sask Canola, Harvey Milanowicz, Director, Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities, and Bill Huber, First Vice President, Saskatchewan Stock Growers Association, Bill Priboliski, Director, Agriculture Producers Association of Saskatchewan, Keith Reevy, Director, Sask Barley Development Commission, Wade Haydenstock, Director, Prairie Oat Growers Association, and Sarah Comerford, Audit Chair, Board of Directors, Saskatchewan Beekeepers Association. So thank you very much for joining us, and I always appreciate when industry representatives can join us, as we really do build the crop insurance program in consultation with industry, and it's your input and feedback that provides guidance and direction for making improvements and ensuring that the program is relevant and continues to meet the needs of Saskatchewan farmers and ranchers. And so for 2018, we've listened and we've worked with industry to bring forward enhancements that keep the crop insurance program working for producers, I think. And before I begin to highlight our program changes, I want to acknowledge yesterday's announcement to reinstate the provincial sales tax exemption for agriculture, life, and health insurance premiums. The exemption covers agriculture, which includes crop, livestock, and hail insurance premiums, as well as individual and group life and health insurance premiums. Health includes disability, accident, and sickness insurance. The exemption is retroactive to August 1st, 2017. I think everybody will breathe a sigh of relief over that one, and that's the date the PSD was first applied to insurance. And for those who have paid PSD, we'll be working on details of how to reimburse you shortly. One of the key improvements for 2018 is the addition of fire insurance on pasture land. Last fall, sadly, over 88,000 acres suffered damages as a result of wildfires. A large part of the burnt land was pasture land, and producers are concerned about the lost productivity on that pasture. There was no insurance for fire damage on the pasture, but now producers will be able to easily access coverage. Producers who enroll in the forage rainfall insurance program will have year-round coverage for fire on pasture when they purchase that insurance. Forage insurance is an area recognized by industry as one that can be improved. Over the last number of years, SCIC worked with forage and livestock groups. In 2016, we introduced a number of enhancements to forage insurance, which were well received by the industry. In 2018, we are adding additional flexibility into the forage program so producers have access to the right coverage to meet their needs. An additional waiting option is being added to the forage rainfall insurance program. This change adds more options for growers to customize their coverage to fit the conditions in their area and their individual management practices. As forage restoration benefit is now included with insurance for tame hay and alfalfa seed, this enhancement will compensate producers who lose insured acres of established hay or alfalfa due to prolonged flooding. SCIC is continuing to expand the options for growers to customize their coverage. Another way producers can achieve this is through the corn heat unit program. The number of weather stations used for the corn heat unit program is expanding from 16 this year to 131. This will allow for the corn heat unit program to be expanded across Saskatchewan. Responding to producers growing the crop in new areas of the province and giving growers the opportunity to select a weather station that best reflects the conditions on their own farm. Industry has told us that marketing of grain continues to evolve, and producers have more options than ever to contract their production. And that's why we're expanding the number of crops available or eligible for the contract price option. And through the contract price option, growers use the contracted price for their grain as the basis of the crop insurance. Today, barley, commercial canola, oats, hard red, spring wheat, durum, and CPS wheat are being added to the contract price option, bringing the total number of crops eligible for coverage under this option to 30. In particular, malt barley growers have requested this type of insurance to ensure coverage reflects the higher value of their contracted malt barley production. This also aligns our malt barley coverage with our counterparts in Alberta. Bee mortality insurance is improving this year. The bee mortality insurance program provides bee producers with insurance for overwintering losses in their bee colonies. Industry has asked SCIC to pursue individualized deductibles. Currently, the deductible is based on long-term industry averages for bee losses during the winter. Through the introduction of an individual deductible, bee mortality insurance will be more responsive to the individual risk profiles of beekeepers. Relevancy of its programs and options is something that SCIC always evaluates. Recognizing declining participation in the variable price option for grains, oilseeds, and specialty crops, SCIC has decided to discontinue this program feature. The variable price option was put in place as a way for producers to access an updated insured price midway through the calendar year. However, the variable price option was not well used. The in-season price option, a similar pricing tool, better reflects how crop pricing changes over the course of a year. Producers are using the in-season price option because the insured price is finalized in February, reflecting the impact of market changes during the year rather than basing the price on a forecast midway through the summer when markets are still fluctuating, sometimes dramatically. Please note, forage producers will continue to have access to both the variable price option and the in-season price option through the forage insurance program. These pricing mechanisms are still relevant and supported by the forage industry. With those adjustments and enhancements in mind, overall coverage for Saskatchewan producers remains at very high levels. The average insurance coverage is $216 per acre, compared to $217 per acre last year. The premium producers pay for this coverage is down slightly in 2018. The grower will pay an average $8.41 per acre, down from $8.51 per acre in 2017. The average coverage remains strong due to the success of the Saskatchewan producers' ongoing improvements in crop production as overall yields continue to move higher. Premiums have remained relatively steady because of the strong fund balance used to pay claims. Even with over $600 million in claims from the challenging 2016 growing season, where 1.3 million acres were left out over winter, and with over $200 million in claims in 2017 due to one of the driest years in the province's history, SCIC continues to keep a strong fund balance of $2 billion. Through this strong balance, SCIC is able to keep premiums low for producers. The establishment benefit values for a number of crops are increasing in 2018. The establishment benefit is a feature of crop insurance program where producers are compensated for crop that is seeded but fails to establish due to insurable causes. The compensation amounts are reviewed annually to ensure they compensate for the cost of seeding the crop. This year, establishment benefit values are increasing for canola, sunflowers, chickpeas, and grain corn. There is a decline in the established benefit for compensation for one crop, large green lentils. Establishment values are going from $60 per acre to $45 per acre, reflecting a drop in seed costs for this crop. As we head towards the 2018 growing season, there's concern across the province about soil moisture levels and the need for substantial precipitation in this coming growing season. Now is when producers can be proactive about the risk management, and while no one can predict how the spring and summer will unfold, we know that soil moisture reserves were used up last year to sustain many crops, and the risk to this year's crop production is greater if the dry conditions continue. As I have said for the last number of years, there will be no ad hoc programming should weather not cooperate. Producers should make sure they are prepared for the upcoming season. And I'm confident in the coverage and protection the crop insurance program provides. In most cases, producers' individual coverage is increasing as a result of ongoing improving yields. The success growers have had is reflected in the coverage that they can access. Since our government has been in office, we focused on improving the crop insurance program, recognizing it as a valuable risk management tool for producers. All the changes and enhancements made during this time resulted in a crop insurance program unique for each farm operation. No farm operates the same, and they shouldn't expect their coverage to be the same. Every producer's insurance can be individualized to their own farm, and through a huge selection of options and features, producers can customize coverage even further so it meets their own risk management needs. Don't just roll over your coverage. I encourage producers to have conversations with their local crop insurance office personnel. Producers can be proactive right now and evaluate their coverage, ensuring that they have the protection they need heading into the 2018 growing season. I would also encourage producers to take a hard look at agri-stability. We do not support late participation in agri-stability, as we believe it goes directly against the principle of proactive risk management and does not fix any existing problems within the program. We have no intention of triggering late participation under any circumstances in this province. The program does provide a low-cost way for producers to protect their operation should it experience financial hardship from things like declining commodity prices, rising input costs, or drought. SCIC has made it a priority to improve access to agri-stability and to simplify the application. They have Ag Connect so that producers can file online, and help is available across the province through the 21 customer service offices. The transition to the new Federal Provincial Territorial Agreement for Agriculture, the Canadian Agricultural Partnership, or CAP, occurs in April and includes a few adjustments for the agri-stability program. One of the key changes, I think the key change that we agreed to when we signed the agreement last summer, was a cap on the reference margin limit. What this basically means is the margin used to calculate benefits can only drop to a certain level, no matter what the farm's expense profile is like. As part of our announcement today, I also want to inform producers that compensation through the Wildlife Damage Compensation Program is increasing. Working with the Saskatchewan cattle industry, we recognize the compensation for calves lost due to predator attacks was not adequate. The compensation provided was based on the value of the animal at the time of loss. We are now increasing payments for predation of calves. The new compensation rates recognize the lost opportunity of not being able to complete normal marketing for calves that are taken by predators. This also aligns our coverage with our neighbors in other western provinces. When it comes to risk management, I want to remind producers of another option that they should consider. The Western Livestock Price Insurance Program is continuing under the new Canadian Agricultural Partnership, and we are currently in the period where producers can access insurance for their calves. Producers have until the end of May to access price insurance, which protects against a decline in the price of calves. Last year, over 22% of Saskatchewan calf crop was insured through that program, which was the highest percentage insured since we started in 2014. It was great to see the strong uptake by producers recognizing the risk protection the program provides. I would again encourage producers to sign up, as it is free to do so, and then monitor coverage available. If it fits your operation, secure your price so you are not at risk of a drop in the livestock market. In conclusion, risk management has never been more important for Saskatchewan farms. SCIC's programs are evolving and continue to adapt to the changing agricultural landscape in the province. I encourage farmers to seriously consider crop insurance for 2018 and to evaluate their coverage so it meets the needs of their farm. SCIC has a great team of people across the province. They live in the communities where our farms are located. They understand the challenges of producers and the industry, and they are focused on excellent customer service. They are ready to help. Producers can contact their local crop insurance office before March 31st to renew or make any changes to their 2018 crop insurance contract. By investing in sound risk management programming, we are providing a foundation for our agriculture industry to grow. We want farmers to be innovative, make sound business decisions, and propel the industry forward as agriculture continues to be a major driver of our provincial economy. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time today to learn about the 2018 crop insurance program, and I'll now, with the help of my friend Sean Jakes, will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Minister Stewart. We'll now move to the question and answer portion with the media for the news conference here. So the Q&A session is for media only, and we just want to make people aware of that. What we'll do is, because we are live streaming this, there's a little bit of a delay in the live stream compared to those listening on the phone line. So we'll take questions electronically and from those in the room first, and then when those are done, we'll move to questions from the phone line, just to ensure that those things don't get out of sync there. So for our questions here, I don't know if our media in the room would like to ask a question. If you do, just come closer to the mic so the people on the phone line can hear your questions. So we have Jason Antoni from the Melville Advance. Jason?
With the average premium being about 10 cents less per acre, is that a good thing? How might that affect producers?
Well, before we start, I'll say that I'll answer some of the questions. Sean I'll refer some of them directly to Sean, and if Sean observes that I've said something that isn't complete or correct, he'll feel free to correct me. But the lower premiums are positive in that insurance is cheaper. It unfortunately, it basically means that the basket of crops that crop insurance insures is slightly less valuable this year than previous years.
Thanks, Jason. Do you have a follow-up question you'd like at this point? Okay. Just want to remind media that are watching, we do take your questions via text and via email. Those addresses and numbers were sent out earlier. And when you do send your text or your email, just indicate what outlet you're from and the name that you're representing. I will take one text here. I don't have the actual person who was asking the question, but a question that is somewhat relevant, saying, what will be done if it's deemed too dry to seed this year? Noting that all of us in the dry areas are paying unseeded acreage premium, even though it will never, they say, pay out. Dry acres should be treated the same. Comment to that question in regards to the dry acres?
Well, when it comes to too dry to seed, I mean, it's pretty early yet to know what happens. We're all hopeful that Mother Nature will cooperate and we'll get spring rains, and we've seen that happen in the past. But certainly certain parts of our province are extremely dry right now. Producers have full crop coverage. If they seed a crop, full crop coverage begins on June 21st, and we will insure them for any losses that may occur from the year. In the event that it just doesn't rain and a producer puts seed in the ground, they will get paid for the losses that they have. But again, I want to stress that it is early, and we're always hopeful that Mother Nature cooperates and we can get a crop off. So.
Mr. Stewart, anything else to add on that?
I know. I think that's
okay.
That says it.
Excellent. Any other questions from in the room here, from our media in attendance? Jason? Okay. No problem. I don't have any other questions submitted electronically at this point. So, operator, if you want to let the media that are on the teleconference, let them know how they can enter the queue to ask their questions.
Absolutely. To the phone audience, if you have a question, please press star then 1 on your touch-tone phone. For those of you joining us today using a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Once again, that is star then 1 to the phone audience. We'll go first to Jim Smalley of CKRM Radio.
Good morning, and thanks for putting this all together. I appreciate this very much. It's going to be kind of a two-part question. One is I'd like to have, and I'm sorry I did not write down all the names, but I'd like to have two representatives from the grain sector, possibly APAS and the barley representative. Make sure you say your name before you give a comment. And I'd like to have the stock growers and the Cattlemen's Association to each make a comment. Of course, the cattle comment is about the increased compensation for predation, and of course the grain about what the changes are to the grain program, the enhancements. I'd appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Sure. So we'll see who's going to jump to the microphone first here. Maybe we'll start with the question to the cattle industry. We have Levi and Bill here. If you guys can just pull the microphone close to you here and just say your name and your title so Jim has that on the record.
Good morning, Jim. It's Bill Huber, First Vice President of the Saskatchewan Stock Growers Association. And certainly the association that I represent, SSGA, welcomes the announcements of the minister here today. And as far as the predation program, we're very appreciative that the government has recognized the true financial cost to the livestock producers who lose calves due to predators, and has done their best to provide fair compensation. The enhancement puts Saskatchewan producers on a level playing field, and it's a program that certainly works well, and it's really recognized. The value paid for a lost calf is calculated previously, and the coverage paid was $600 in previous years on market weight, and the change will use the market price in the fall to set the minimum calf value. And the average of the forward price in September will be calculated using weekly average market values in February. And once again, I think it's a great change, and I think the industry certainly appreciates it.
Jim, it's Levi Hull with the Saskatchewan Cattlemen's Association, and we are also very pleased to see the changes that have been brought forward. We've worked quite closely with Sask Crop Insurance and the ministry and the ag side. So we've actually had quite a few changes brought forward, including the change in price for predation claims. So we're very pleased to see the increase and the understanding of the loss of that calf and what it brings forward, selling that calf in April or May. So we're really happy to continue working with the ministry and Sask Crop Insurance, and we're here anytime you need to talk with us. Thank you.
Now I know, Jim, you wanted a response from APAS. We have Bill Probilski here, and we also have Keith Reeve from Sask Barley Development Commission. So, Bill, do you want to start there?
Sure, thank you. Bill Probilski with APAS. Yeah, I think overall the changes are definitely positive for both the cattle industry and the grains and oilseeds. I think the new pricing contract option is kind of reflective of the new modern.
Sorry, you've cut out. Could
marketing.
you repeat yourself, Bill?
Sorry. APAS for the most part is viewing the changes as positive for both the cattle industry and the grains and oilseeds, and then I believe that the change to the contract pricing option is a positive step, and it kind of reflects the more modern marketing of our grains and oilseeds.
We'll also get Keith to respond from the Sask Barley Development Commission.
Keith Reeve with Sask Barley. Sask Barley would like to thank Sask Crop Insurance for the changes that have been made to enhance our program. It aligns very similarly with our long-term goal of ensuring barley as a competitive crop for Saskatchewan producers. As we know, malt barley is a very important industry for all of Canada from an economic point of view. Canadian brewers use 300,000 metric tons of malt each year to produce 19 million hectoliters of beer, which generates nearly $6 billion in tax revenue. So the enhancement of this program is an alignment with what we were looking for, and establishing an effective insurance program is what Sask Barley has had as a high priority. Malt barley will be an appealing choice, I believe, now for Saskatchewan producers.
Jim, did that answer your questions?
It did, thank you. I would like a comment from the minister as well. I'd like to ask Lyle. Should farmers take this almost as a warning? You're saying there's no ad hoc program if there is a drought this year, so they should almost take it as a warning. Look at crop insurance, look at agri-stability, the Western Livestock Price Insurance Program.
Well, I think farmers should take it seriously, and I think they do. I've been saying that now for 5 years, and I can't predict the weather, Jim, but it's dry, and in the south there's virtually no snow. So any moisture that we get is going to happen after this. Generally speaking, we look forward to some fall moisture and some snow moisture. It takes the form of runoff at the end of winter. Doesn't look like we'd have no fall moisture, and doesn't look like we're going to get much, if any, runoff in the south. So it's dry, and it's going to be dry going into the growing season by the look of things. I guess it could change tomorrow, but that's not predicted. I think we're all at risk. I'm a farmer too, and I know we're going to make sure we're well insured. And I haven't admitted this before, but we haven't been in agri-stability, but we're getting back in. And I think farmers are wise to cover themselves extra well for this year. It could turn out to be the best year ever, but it would not be my prediction.
Thanks, Jim, for the questions. Operator, can we see if there's anyone else on the phone line with a question?
There are no further questions at this time, but again, to the audience, it is star then one. We'll pause for just a moment.
And we'll give it one more second here. I don't have any.
And we do have another question from the phone line. Carlson Tennis of CBC French, please go ahead.
Yeah, CBC French. So yeah, my question is for Minister, and it's about the fire insurance for peatland. So was it put in place because of all the forest fire last year? Well, last summer, in fact.
It was put in place really as a response to the wildfires in the southwest part of the province, where 88,000 acres of grassland were burnt, and there was a loss of life and a lot of other property besides. Very sad and sort of
Okay.
a changing issue. It made a difference in this
make some
province.
pressure to get that thing happen, or it's really your initiative?
I don't think I heard the beginning of your question. Would you mind repeating it?
Okay, I'm just gonna repeat. Sorry. So this fire insurance, is it SARM that asked you to put that in place, or it's really your initiative at the ministry?
SARM, APAS, Stock Growers, Cattlemen's Association, there may be others, but it was asked for pretty broadly in the province.
And sir, I'm sorry, we have lost your audio a bit again.
Okay, we'll just work with our AV here to make sure we have it. Are we coming through now, operator? We coming through now, operator?
No, still sounds pretty distant.
Okay. Okay. Is that coming through any clearer now?
Loud and clear, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We apologize for that. Let's just check the phone line once more if there's any other questions there.
I'm sorry, Carl, did you have anything further? Or were you able to hear your answer?
I was not able to hear the second answer.
Okay. Minister Stewart, do you mind?
No, it was actually the grassland or the grassland fire insurance was actually asked for by SARM, APAS, Cattlemen's Association, and the Stock Growers Association, and I'm not sure that there aren't more organizations that asked for it, but those four for sure. And it was a major event in southern Saskatchewan that actually even cost loss of life and lots of other property besides just the grass, including hundreds of cattle. So we responded to that. I think crop insurance did a good job of putting something together that will be helpful and easy to use.
Thank you very much. Carl, does that answer your questions?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Operator, anyone else on the phone line from the media?
There are no further questions at this time.
All right. Seeing we have no further questions on the phone line, I'll just check the room again to see if any other questions from our media in attendance. Looking all good here. I have nothing else via electronically, so I think that brings us to conclusion, our 2018 crop insurance program announcement. Again, a reminder to the media who are in attendance, this program announcement has been webcast, and the recorded version will be up on our website if you need to revisit that. Any further questions, my name is located on the news release. Feel free to contact me, and we'll definitely help you out with any further questions you have. I'd like to thank our industry for joining us for the announcement today, and this concludes our 2018 crop insurance program announcement. Thank you.